Think of a moment that made you laugh so hard you surprised yourself. Got it? Hold on to that feeling today. We're unpacking why that rush happens and why funny is more than just a punchline.
I'm still smiling. That involuntary explosion of air, the brief loss of dignity laughter, is deceptively complex. It's emotional, social, cognitive, even evolutionary. So where should we start? The obvious. What actually makes something funny?
Good place to start. People often say timing or surprise, but those feel a little vague. Can we break it down into something tangible that a listener could recognize in a joke or a moment?
Sure. At its core, humor often hinges on incongruity expectations set up one way, then reality twists. Imagine someone meticulously explaining how to toast bread like it's rocket science, then revealing they've been using a hairdryer. The brain does a quick recalculation, finds the mismatch delightful, and voila, laughter. Add timing, tone, and social context, and the brain rewards you with a laugh.
So the brain is basically a prediction machine, and funny things are prediction errors it enjoys?
Exactly. But not all prediction errors are funny. The brain also assesses safety and superiority. Benign violations, something that seems wrong but is okay, are prime material for humor. A harmless prank, a playful insult between friends, or a cartoon character falling off a chair. The violation is noticeable but not threatening, so it registers as funny.
That helps explain why people laugh at a slapstick fall in a movie but not at real pain. Context matters. Speaking of context, how much of humor is cultural? Is something inherently funny across cultures, or does culture shape it?
Culture shapes humor heavily. Certain themes, surprise, wordplay, exaggeration are universal, but references, taboos, and what's considered a benign violation vary. A joke about local politics lands differently in different countries. Even pacing changes. Some cultures lean heavy on subtlety, others on rapid-fire absurdity, but there's overlap. Physical comedy and some forms of irony often cross borders because they tap into broad human experiences.
That explains why some comedians become global sensations while others stay local. Now, on a personal level, why do we laugh at some people's jokes and not others even when the content seems similar?
Delivery is everything. Voice, facial expressions, micro-timing, those refine the incongruity. Trust and shared background matter too. We're likelier to laugh with people we feel connected to. Also, cognitive load matters. If you're tired or distracted, your brain won't do the quick recalculation required for the joke.
So, humor is both technical and relational. That makes it sound like a craft one can practice. Can you train yourself to be funnier?
Absolutely. Begin by sharpening observation. Notice odd juxtapositions in everyday life. Work on timing, pause before the twist, give the listener a moment to mispredict, then deliver. Learn concise language. Many jokes thrive on economy. And most importantly, know your audience. A well-placed, self-deprecating line can build rapport, but in a different crowd, it could fall flat. Practice in low-stakes settings and watch how reactions guide you.
Self-deprecation is interesting because it seems to lower status but increases likability. Is that part of the superiority theory you mentioned?
Yes and no. Classic superiority theory suggests people laugh to feel elevated above others. Self-deprecating humor flips that. By making yourself the target in a safe way, you create closeness and invite others to relax. It signals confidence, paradoxically, because you're secure enough to poke fun at yourself.
Let's talk about the darker side. Comedy can be a tool for social critique, but it can also offend. Where's the line?
The line is fluid. Comedy that punches up satire targeting power tends to be more socially acceptable than comedy that punches down at vulnerable groups. But context and intent matter too. A joke that analyzes power structures can still hurt if it reinforces stereotypes or dismisses real harm. Good comedians often test boundaries but do so with awareness and intelligence, inviting reflection as much as laughter.
So ethical humor requires a mix of craft and conscience. Shifting gears, how does humor impact health? People always say, laughter is the best medicine. Is there science behind that?
There is. Laughter triggers a cascade of physiological effects. Endorphin release, reduced stress hormones, improved circulation. On a social level, it strengthens bonds and lowers perceived social threat. Studies show that laughter can improve mood and buffer stress, though it's not a replacement for medical care. Think of it as a mental and social supplement that enhances resilience.
Nice humor as a low-cost resilience tool. What about technology? AI and algorithms are trying to generate jokes now. Can machines be funny?
Machines can mimic humor, patterns, puns, incongruity, even some forms of satire because they can learn structures. But humor often relies on lived experience, timing, and a shared context that's hard to encode. Machines can be surprising, which sometimes creates accidental comedy, but genuine comedic intuition, knowing when to push and when to refrain, remains human territory for now. That gap may narrow, but the social calibration is tricky.
I want to hear a short example. Can we craft a quick 2-line setup that demonstrates incongruity and timing?
Sure. Setup. I bought a smart fridge to help with my diet. Pause. Punchline. It keeps sending me notifications. Are you sure you want to be friends with these leftovers? It plays on the mismatch between technology's promise and human behavior.
Simple and relatable classic recipe. Let's talk format. Different mediums change humor. Stand-up, podcasts, tweets. How should a podcaster think about funny versus a live comedian?
On audio, voice and imagery carry everything. You need to paint scenes with language because there's no visual slapstick. Pacing matters. Listeners can rewind, but they also multitask, so clarity is crucial. In a podcast, personal anecdotes and conversational banter perform well, especially when they reveal vulnerability. Unlike a tweet, you can build a joke over several minutes, letting tension accumulate before release.
That accumulation is satisfying. We should give listeners a practical takeaway, 3 concrete tips to make their everyday conversations funnier.
Tip 1. Listen actively. Humor is often a response to what's been said. Catch a phrase and twist it. Tip 2. Use surprise sparingly. The more unexpected the turn, the bigger the laugh, but overuse dulls the effect. Tip 3. Embrace specificity. A specific detail is funnier than a vague generality because it paints a clearer mismatch for the brain to process.
Those are actionable. Before we wrap, can humor change the world, or is it just entertainment?
Humor can be a catalyst. It lowers defenses, opens conversations, exposes hypocrisy, and disarms hostility. Satire has toppled reputations and shifted opinions. The right joke at the right time can expose absurdities in policy or human behavior more persuasively than a pamphlet. At the same time, humor alone rarely changes policy. It's part of cultural pressure that, combined with action, moves societies.
That idea, humor as a cultural lever, is powerful. As a closing thought, let's leave listeners with a reflective question that keeps them thinking after the episode ends.
Here's one. When you laugh next, ask yourself, is that laugh building connection or masking discomfort? Being curious about your own laughter turns amusement into insight.
I like that. It turns a reflex into a tool for self-awareness. All right, final line. Where should people look if they want to explore more about humor in everyday life?
Start small. Notice comedians who make you laugh and analyze why. Try telling one short, harmless story to a friend and watch their reaction. And above all, treat humor like a muscle. Use it thoughtfully and often. Laughter is both a mirror and a bridge.
Great note to end on. Thanks for untangling the funny, practical, and thoughtful. To our listeners, next time something cracks you up, don't just laugh, learn from it.
And remember, the best jokes often sit just at the edge of what you expect. Lean into that edge carefully and you'll find more moments worth laughing about.